it is important to understand that, as I was beginning to discuss, unfortunately we don't have much time, but our acharyas have made this point. Our acharya particularly means Srila Prabhupada has made this point, reiterating the statements of our predecessor acharyas, that Swayamrup Krishna, the lover of Radharani, the friend of Subal, the darling son of Nanda Yasoda, this Swayamrup Krishna, he is the only 100%, absolutely complete personality of Godhead. All other expansions, even up to the Swayam Prakash manifestations, who danced with the other gopis in Maharas. In Krishna Bhavanamrita, it is described that there are two different things which happen during Maharas. Sometimes, or during Rasalila, sometimes Krishna expands his Swayam Prakash manifestations to stand by the side of each gopi, and each gopi is thinking that she is with Krishna alone. Of course, she is not seeing that Krishna is standing, the Swayamrup Krishna is standing with Radhika. They don't see. Rather, those who are in the, let's say, competitor camps, they would prefer not to think that Radhika is the cause of their success. At least sometimes they acknowledge, but most of the time they have a different mood. They want to think of at least their Sakhis want to think of their individual group leaders' personal qualifications. But in any case, sometimes Krishna expands, and sometimes he's going like a firebrand, dancing so quickly in the midst of the gopis that no one can understand when he's coming and when he's leaving their company. So, in these instances, this is usually an occurrence in the more intimate Rasalilas, where where Radha is making the arrangements for all of her Sakhis to associate with her Swayamrup Krishna and get the experience of Swayamrup Krishna. So, in any case, Srila Prabhupada is mentioned like this, and our acharyas, particularly Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he advocates that therefore, because the other manifestations up to the Swayam Prakash manifestations, as we have explained, which danced with the gopis separately, they have only up to 93% of the completeness of the beauty and sweetness of Swayamrup Krishna. Therefore, our acharyas, they advocate that we should focus our attention on the service of Radha Krishna. Because that Krishna who is with Radharani is the 100% personality of God. Of course, we understand that all the rasas in Braja are meant to enhance Radha and Krishna's Madhurya Leelas in the realm of Braja. They are all meant to, in various ways, increase the experience of Vipralamba in the heart of Radha and Krishna, and in the heart of their devotees also. Our Siddhanta, our philosophy, is in pursuit of Vipralambamayi Radha Krishna Leela. This is the prerogative of the Gaudīya Sampradāyā. The Nimbarka Sampradāyā also preach Radha Krishna Bhakti, but their Radha Krishna is Sambhogmayi. They prefer to worship Radha Krishna in Swakya Ras. but we prefer to worship Radha Krishna in the Parakya Ras. And without getting into too much detailed discussion, as it's almost 9 o'clock already, and I was told that I should at least stop for 12. So we cannot discuss at length. But it should be noted that this Vipralambamai Radha Krishna Leela is the topmost aspect of Radha Krishna Leela. I was speaking with one Nimbarki, Nimbarkacharya, who was telling me that what is the use of Vipralamba? Because the Ananda experienced in the dealings of Radha and Krishna in the Nitya Nikunj Bihar, which is the goal of the Nimbarkis, they want to go to a realm where there is no question of Vipralamba. They say that Vipralamba is Pratikula. Pratikula means it is against the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. That they're not happy with the Vipralamba. So therefore, why, let's say, impede their happiness? Why, let's say, create, let's say, distress in their heart? So this can be likened to the immature disciple who is unable to understand the chastisement of his guru. Because the disciple is not able to understand the chastisement of his guru, he doesn't understand that the chastisement is for increasing the intensity of his adhikar, to serve Radha and Krishna on a higher and higher platform of perfection. So, in the Nimbark philosophy, their goal is to enter into a realm where there is no Madhya Yasoda, there is no Ananda Baba, there is no Subal, there's no Madhamangala, there are no cows even. Although it's on the Golok planet, there are no cows. There is a realm for them. But there may be peacocks and some parrots and some trees and creepers and things like that, which will not, let's say, distract Krishna from his association with Radha and her Sakhis. There's no Chandravali. There are no competitors. There's only Radha, Krishna, and Radharani Sakhis and maidservants. And that is called Nitya Nikunj. In that realm, there is only what is called Sambhog Ras. There's no Vipralamba Ras. And the attitude is of Swakya. Krishna is eternally associated, in the mood of being, of belonging to each other. Swakya means one's own, belonging to oneself. So, but this can be understood that because he was saying, this Nimbarkacharya was telling me, that what is the need of Vipralamba, because in the Nitya Nikunj, the Ananda is eternally ever increasing anyway. So what is the need for Vipralamba to increase the intensity of the Ananda? Which sounds like a very good question, but our answer is that there is eternally ever increasing, there's more eternally ever increasing, and there's most eternally ever increasing. So in this way, we can understand the contribution of the Gaudīya Sampradāyā. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was directly Krishna himself, came to relish the topmost aspect of Radharani's Vipralambamai, let's say, experiences. Radharani certainly has other, even in the Golok planet, on the Golok planet, there's the realm of Braja, which is the most extensive realm, but there are other sectors as well, where there's this Nitya Nikunj Bihar going on. There's the realm of, there are different Sweta Dweeps also. The realm of Dwarka is there, and the realm of Mathura, Mathura, Dwarka, and outside the realm of Dwarka, on the perimeters of the Golok planet, is what is called as Golok Vrindāvan or Vaikuntha Vrindāvan, where Radha and Krishna is worshipped in majesty, awe and reverence, as we do in our, you can say, beginning stages. Those who don't go beyond the worship of Radha and Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan, they will attain this realm of Vaikuntha Vrindavan on the Golok Vrindavan planet, where the reverential worship or majestic worship of Krishna is going on. Don't mind me saying, but if we've not gone that far, then we should understand that we have not so much to be so proud about in the matter of our progress in devotional life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that even if one is residing in this Braja Bhumi, even if he is doing the Radha Krishna worshipping the Radha Krishna Vigraha in the land of Braja Bhumi, but if he is doing so without his Siddhadeha, then he will not attain Braja. Rather, he will attain the maid service of Rukmini in Dwarka, or he will enter into the realm of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha meaning Vaikuntha Vrindavan. But he will not be able to enter into the realm of. Mind you, I'm not purposely preaching Rag Bhajan, but we should understand that in due course of time, as our enchantment for the, let's say, sweetness of Krishna Lila, as is being discussed here by Srila Prabhupada's grace, this enchantment will gradually cause us to inquire more and more deeply into the tattvas and into the actual need and the actual necessary prayojan, the process by which one can actually enter into the realm, which is the goal of the Gaudiyas. For the most part, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas aspire to Brajalila. And to enter into Brajalila, if anyone has read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can know it very well that by cultivating the Vaidhi Bhakti alone, without enhancing his inner heart's desires and appreciation for the attitude of loving service in their feelings of separation from Krishna, of the Brajvasis, primarily the Braja Gopis, that if we will not allow ourselves to appreciate and try to catch up this mood, which is nothing but the very mood of unalloyed devotion that Srila Prabhupada wants every one of us to have. Srila Prabhupada wants to give us all these things. No doubt. We have to upgrade our adhikar for having access to the things. When we will upgrade our adhikar, then with our own eyes, we will see everything in the Bhaktivedanta purports. It's a question of our adhikar. Everything is there. Just like here in this purport, if you will recall, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning how the gopis are crying and crying on account of thinking of the worst. How Krishna's soft, delicate lotus feet, which they dare to even place on their hard breast, let's say hardened breast. Breasts are hard because there's the deep feelings of, let's say, transcendental amorous love for Krishna. So, but they dare to place his soft lotus feet on their breast. But so they're thinking that how is it possible that he could consider in reality, even though let's say we fear that his feet may be discomforted by placing them there, but it could not be nearly as let's say painful for him as his traversing the forest path in our separation. To be real, we should understand that in Bhagavatam, this line where they're expressing that how his soft lotus feet must be pricked by the sharp thorns and the pebbles on the Braja footpaths. But we should know, first of all, Krishna has explained in Bhavanamrita also that the chamari deer, with their big tails, they are always sweeping the paths for the pleasure of Krishna. There's no question of sharp stones and thorns and brambles on the forest path. Furthermore, you never hear the gopis complaining or expressing intense pain of the prospect of Krishna's feet being pricked on the forest paths when he's with them, wandering through the forest. You never see that. So it should be understood that such an expression is an expression of their intense vipralambha. It's an expression of their intense feelings of separation from Krishna. That my dear Krishna, because remember, this expression was given, it was told at the time when Krishna had disappeared from their midst. And they're praying and begging Krishna again and again in various ways of supplication to please again kindly condescend to make your appearance in our midst, not because we want to gratify ourselves in your company, because our hearts are pained. You think that what they're really trying to say is that you think that your feet are pricked here and there, but you should think of how our hearts are pained. And actually Krishna is thinking of how their hearts are pained. That's why he makes his reappearance in their midst. He's not reappearing in their midst for his self-gratifications, but he's reappearing as a reciprocation on the basis of a mutual desire to let's say, selflessly satisfy each other. And that is the meaning of unalloyed devotion. That is the meaning of Braja Bhakti. Braja Bhakti, just like, to give an example of the distinction of two different realms. In Dwarka, Rukmini Devi, she is sleeping with Krishna. No doubt. You can read about it. I don't know if I've ever discussed this publicly or not, but you can read about it in the chapter in Krishna book, Krishna's daily pastimes, daily activities. So the cock crows, and Rukmini is condemning the cock, saying, "Oh, why does the night have to end?" And Krishna is getting up from the bed, releasing himself from Rukmini's embrace, and he's going about his daily activities, meditating on himself, and then entering into the Sudharma assembly house. He, let's say, all the expansions of Krishna merge into one to enter into the assembly house. So we should understand that what is the cause of the expression of Rukmini? Rukmini, she has, let's say, the desire to satisfy her own, let's say, she has desires for self-satisfaction mixed into her desires for pleasing Krishna. It is mentioned by our acharyas that approximately 50-50 are the desires of the queens of Dwarka for satisfying themselves and satisfying Krishna. Because there's a mixture of the desire to see her husband, Krishna condescends to satisfy her desires by sleeping with her as her husband. And when she's hearing the cock crow, it will be the disgust which is expressed will also be in terms, to a large extent, it will be in terms of her feelings of distress on account of her self-satisfactions being interrupted. So Krishna condescends to fulfill her desires. But look at the difference between this example and the example of Srimati Radharani. Radharani also sleeps with Krishna in Parakya Ras. But she has no desire to sleep with Krishna. She has no desire to see Krishna for her self-gratifying purposes, or for her self-satisfaction. But rather, also is mentioned how the cock is crowing when Radha and Krishna are at Nidhivan in the Nishant Leela. Radha and Krishna are together in their embrace, and the cock is crowing, and Radharani is telling them to go and coo in hell. You see? Rukmini was telling them to go to hell also, and Radharani is telling them to go to hell. But her purposes in telling them to go to hell and Rukmini's purposes are different. Her purposes in telling them to go to hell is that why are you interrupting Krishna's pleasure in meeting with me? She has no desire to sleep with Krishna. But Krishna has a desire to sleep with her, and she condescends to fulfill Krishna's desire. It is quite different. It's looking the same. Just like Srila Prabhupada has made the point in one purport. He says that it's not what we do, but it's the attitude with which we do whatever we're doing. Just like Kubja is also. She also sports with Krishna. But her mood is what is called kama-praya. Her mood is the mood which is nearly, let's say, verging on mundane lust. It is similar to the gopis' prema, but it is merely verging on mundane lust. Kubja is considered to be the personification of the Purusha Shakti of Krishna. That Purusha Shakti of Krishna acts in this material world to, cause every jiva to experience this Purusha Bhav. That because Kubja was asking Krishna, please to remain with her, not to leave immediately. Remain for some time and enjoy with her. But Krishna politely pointed out to her that it would not be possible. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions how it is that because Krishna's mundane realm, or so-called mundane realm of this material cosmos, it is vyakta and avyakta. So it is having its manifestation and dissolution. So it is not possible for him to remain in this material world, indicating that this Purusha Shakti of Krishna, just like the Mahamaya Shakti is only manifested within this material realm, so similarly this Purusha Shakti is a Shakti which is active in the material realm only. So as such, Kubja will be able to meet with Krishna intermittently when there is the manifestation of the cosmos during the Prakrita Leelas of Krishna. on the earthly planet. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that a devotee, especially those who are desirous of, let's say, the conjugal ras with Krishna. Those who are desirous of the conjugal ras of Krishna, but he said devotees, especially them, so it means all devotees, actually, that it does not do very well for them to think in terms of being the enjoyer of Krishna. Because actually Krishna is the enjoyer. To the extent we realize that, to the extent that we give up the, let's say, self-centeredness, to that extent we qualify ourselves to enter into the topmost realm of Braja and experience the topmost bliss, the topmost happiness of rendering, ever-increasing, self-giving, selfless means that we have no interest for ourselves. But rather, we only desire the happiness of Krishna. This principle has to be understood. Without understanding this principle, then how it is that we can, enter into the more esoteric principles in terms of the, let's say, the details of Braja Bhakti by following in the footsteps of any particular associate of Krishna whom we choose by our own heart's, inclination to follow. But we have to understand at least the basics. Just like sometimes it is said, some devotees or some Vaishnavas here in Braja, they want to say that actually Srila Prabhupada preached the mood of Prahlad. But it may look like that. Sometimes it is seen that that Prabhupada and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Toda Gopinath, when he was hearing from Gadadhar Pandit Bhagavad, it is also seen that he was relishing this Prahlad Shiksha and the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj, etc. It is seen, but we have to see what is the Antara Bhavana. How Mahaprabhu, he was not relishing in the mood of Prahlad in actuality, but he was taking this shiksha and applying it to his own, to augment his own relish of let's say, approach to Krishna. Mahaprabhu had his Staibhav. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada also has his Staibhav, or his constant flow of ecstasy.